Madam Chair, on item B, if I could, you have before you, I believe it was submitted on March 1st. As I indicated, I would bring back to you quotations for town council. I am hereby recommending the firm of Blattman, Bobrowski, and Mead, Limited Liability Corporation for town council, notwithstanding labor services, which are going to be, in my opinion, handled by
We're going to discuss it.
Koppelman and Page. And I'm looking for your advice and consideration on this matter.
Thank you. It is a separate item on the agenda. I was going to suggest that we discuss it now, since it's part of the town administrator's report. Mrs. Winslow.
Madam Chair, thank you. Ms. Andrews, I'm very concerned about the recommendation of this new law firm. Copeland and Page has been town council here in excess of 20 years. Am I allowed to say the quotes that we got publicly?
You sure can.
Yes, it's public information.
Okay. The quote from the law firm that you have recommended to us is a flat fee of $216,000 per fiscal year. It does not include legal services on labor-related matters, general tax title work or routine hearings before the appellate board that can be handled without counsel, matters for which fees are required to be paid by permit, expert consulting fees, title examination, and costs for stenographic transcripts. Copeland and Page submitted to us a quote which was all-inclusive with no exclusions of $114,000 annually. Now, we're in a budget crisis.
Yep.
We've worked with this law firm for over 20 years.
Yep.
And one attorney left there and went to this new firm, and we're going to jump ship and spend over $102,000 plus per year.
Let me be clear, Madam Chair, through you, anybody who has worked with us on legal issues over the past year that I've been involved with. And by the way, if you look at the flat fee presentation, the flat fee does include all services relating to municipal contracts, procurement issues, presentations, appellate tax board hearings, and other substantive matters requiring assistance by counsel. By the way, monthly office hours, which have worked tremendously to help reduce our legal fees by over 21% mid this fiscal year. And I attribute that to the hub of our legal team, which is Mr. Rich Bowen, in my opinion. And I'll just say this. You look at what has happened with our legal fees. We're budgeted for $250,000. Yes, I'd like to bring that down. In fact, I believe we can. But we can do that with the continued arrangement that we've made with the lead counsel, Mr. Bowen, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion.
Mr. Andrews, the entire quote, and you know, I definitely appreciate what Mr. Sullivan tried to do here, but he didn't give us the whole picture. If anybody sat down and read the entire quote from Copeland and Page, all these things were inclusive, the things that we're getting now.
I believe everybody has the quotes in front of them, and I would
it
take
says,
a look at them.
It says it's subject, no, all we have is the summary that was given to us.
If I may, Madam Chair.
Mrs. Ekstrom.
Thank you. I guess maybe I missed the memo or misunderstood. I thought we were going to be discussing town council insofar as what the board was going to consider for criteria, that we weren't going to make a decision tonight. That, I mean, the last time that we interviewed for town council, we actually had interviews for town council. And I think that when we had put these quotes out way back when, or put out the request, that I had even said that if we had to, you know, meet on an off night so that we could do the interviews, because it is, I mean, I know they're public records, the amounts, but these are, you know, it would be an interview for a job. It would be the respondents. We could do it as a preliminary interview. We're the ones that appoint, because while I understand both sides of this discussion, I mean, I think that, you know, Copeland and Page has been there for many years. They've been, you know, steady with the town. I also understand that a lot of that is in part because of an attorney who has left there. And I think that, you know, we had other responses that we're not even discussing, and that, you know, do we do a cutoff of a price range, or do we bring in the respondents and talk with them? Because a lot of times you just get a feeling, and that you talk with someone and you say, you know what, I think they can continue with us, or you know what, I think that they can go forward with us, or hey, you know what, this guy here that did a couple little things back here, I think he's the one we should go with. So I don't know why we're jumping to do something on things that we've just gotten reviews on. I do understand that under the charter we do have to appoint counsel in March, but I want to give everyone a fair shake at it, and so I would like to recommend that if we can get in touch with these people, all of the respondents, and see if we can get a couple of nights that that we can discuss with them or interview them, and then discuss it as a board.
Madam Chair, if I could, just that
Mr. Andrews?
I think unless I'm missing something, I did what the board asked me to do, which was to get quotes. And if the board wants to interview, that's fine. I just want to say this to you. In my 31 years, we have a hub of a lead counsel who's on board with us, who works with me on a daily basis to head off legal issues that in many cases could cost us tens of thousands of dollars, in my opinion. And I have in my hand, I just want to put this forward, you had it in your packet earlier, the meeting of December 13th for the town of Nantucket, when the lead counsel indicated that he would be lead counsel for the town of Nantucket. So unless he's a great swimmer, I'm not sure how he can be lead counsel in Nantucket and be lead counsel in Wareham, in my opinion. So as I see things, and these are the official minutes, I can get them stamped, but the idea is that we have a lead counsel. We have made great progress on legal matters. We have made great strides on keeping things out in front of us from our Friday free legal seminars. And I'm just making my recommendation. It's up to the board to weigh in and give the advice and counsel in vote to take this up, or to have interviews, and that's fine with me.
Madam Chair, there's no indication that the Copeland and Page quote, which is significantly less, and who has provided this town with legal services over the last 20 years. I'm sure we've lost more than one attorney over the last 20 years. I mean, they're well equipped. They're one of the top municipal law firms in the Commonwealth. They can handle any type of litigation that comes their way with all the different types of attorneys that come with them.
Well, I think, and I think going back again, rather than, deciding that, we have quotes from other firms. So my recommendation is, and Blattman is one of them, but I think that, we should, well, you're saying that, Copeland and Page has these ones. You know what? If we interview them, then perhaps this one says, oh, yeah, not only do we have the person who has argued on land uses, we have the guy who literally wrote the book on land use, and so I'm not making a judgment one way or the other. I just thought that the discussion was going to be about our selection process. Like I said, maybe I misunderstood, but that's what I thought it was, and that's what I would hope it would be.
Well, I would definitely support an interview process. I have great concerns about making a big change, especially when there's such a large... The other quote, by the way, that came in also with exclusions at $100,000. So this quote is significantly higher than the others, and I think that sitting people down in front of us and getting an idea of what they're offering, it may be the best idea.
So if we could do it, perhaps, well, I don't know what the rest of the board, I'll wait for them, but I would be happy to do it next Wednesday and Thursday if we could get them in evening interviews with them or something.
I'll do whatever needs to be done.
Mr. Holmes or Mr. Cruz?
Yeah, Madam Chair, maybe I've missed something. I didn't jump in the water. I didn't jump off a ship because a counsel left a law firm. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe Mrs. Winslow could explain.
Would you like me to explain?
I would love to hear that explanation.
Attorney Bowen left Copeland and Page, and we have we're still utilizing his services, which I'm assuming are special counsel services now. And we're not utilizing the services to the extent that we once did of the duly appointed town council. So Attorney Bowen jumped the Copeland and Page ship, went to a new law firm, and now all of a sudden we are supposed to just go with this law firm sight unseen and quote $100,000 higher. And I have an issue with this whole thing.
Those are the comments I don't get.
We get the gist. We don't have to be angry people.
We asked, my understanding, maybe I missed 10 or 12 meetings here, but I thought we asked the town administrator to go out and get bids and bring them back to the Board of Selectmen. Hey, did we not ask that?
Yes, we did.
Mr. Bowen, if I recall, was still working at Copeland and Page when we did that.
Yes, sir.
So the comments of jumping ship because an attorney left, that's just not factual. I'm sorry. We asked for this before he left that law firm. Mr. Andrews has brought us the bids, and he's, in his town administrator report, is saying what he would like. The Board of Selectmen hasn't made a motion. We've just begun to discuss it. We haven't taken any votes. So these comments, I just find it, unless I've missed something, and I will apologize if I have, I thought we were just beginning to discuss this evening, Madam Chair. I could be mistaken.
No, you're not mistaken. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. I think that, Mr. Cruz, sorry.
Yes, Madam. Yes, Madam Chair. Now, we do have three quotes in front of us, and it's inclusive. As one of the colleagues first said, the first one is $216,000. The other one is $114,000, and you got $100,000. In any business, you take the bid, you go with the lowest one, unless, when you read it, there may be some inclusions in it that's going to bring you back up to $150,000. Now, you have one with $114,000. That's a flat fee and everything's included. Now, I believe that a supervisor needs people around him that he's comfortable with working with. But how much is that comfort going to cost me? For $100,000, I'll be comfortable with anybody. So I think we need to look at it, get it down, interview the people, because there may be some hidden things in this, because all I see is a flat fee does not include, subject to no inclusion, so that's everything's with it. The other one, we're paying $165 per hour outside of what his fee is. So it's going to go more than $216. Even with the $100,000, it's going to go more than $100,000.
Thank you. But I did hear in the discussion that you are okay with doing an interview with each of the firms. Did I hear that in your
Well, if
discussion?
that's what the board likes, but we already got the figures here. If they want us to take a vote, then we're going on flat dollars.
Well, if I may, Madam Chair, Mr. Cruz, just for everyone's information, that Mass General Law, Chapter 30B, which is the procurement law, which does do the, go to the lowest bidder, legal counsel, engineering, the specific expertise and quality type jobs where it's a failing or those things are actually exempt. So and they specifically make them exempt because of the unique relationships that you have with the with legal counsel, and I do understand what you're saying, that hey, if it's this much money, we don't need that one or whatever. I do understand that, but I think that there is a reason for that in the law, or else counsel would be 30B, and you'd have, pardon the phrase, but every ambulance chaser running into municipal law because they knew they could get some money. So I just think that, like I said, I don't think I have. I haven't given one way or an opinion what my sentiments are. I just think that I do understand, yep, if there are exclusions, and while Mrs. Winslow was saying it, one said it doesn't include this, it didn't include experts or something like that. Well, I would bet that when they say no exclusions, they mean strictly for legal counsel. And every one of them, if we went to court and we had to get an outside expert, no law firm is going to pay for that. They won't charge us for the legal aspect, but if we have to have a surveyor or something like that, we're on the dime for that as well. So I think that we should look at it because I think one was more clear on what was excluded, where the other ones weren't. And so that's why I think really an interview, a qualitative interview process, and I understand we have to do it in March, so I understand it would be quick. And look, they want the business, so they'll make it happen when we can make it happen. But that would, again, be my recommendation.
If I could just add a couple of things. There's a saying, caveat emptor, buyer beware. And I'm going to say that, over the last 4 years that I've sat on this board, Copeland & Page has provided us with very good service, but not always as timely as we would like them to provide it with us because they're a very large firm. And if you're paying a low dollar fee like $114,000, you could be sitting in line waiting for them where you could get this other guy on the phone and with an immediate response. So I think, again, we need to be looking at qualitative versus quantitative, which is the price, because you need to pay attention. I know there have been a lot of times when we had to really press the button to get the attention of a very large firm. And I know that everybody's, wanting to make a low bid. And because they are so big, they can make a lower bid. But I do think that we should get them in here and talk to them then, if that's, that may be the only solution to get a feel for it. I understand, Mr. Andrews, I appreciate your feeling of comfort with the gentleman who has been doing a lot of our legal services for us during the year that you've been here, and it is rather unfortunate that that he's parted ways. But I do think that that's also a consideration, because you want to do business with somebody that you're comfortable with, who you know is going to pick up the phone when you call at 9 o'clock at night.
Saturday night.
So if the board would like to bring these firms in and we can question them a little further, we can do that next Wednesday and Thursday. Mr. Andrews, if you can see if they're available. Even Tuesday. Well, I think our agenda is pretty full for next week. But we actually do have Copeland & Page coming in next Wednesday to do next Tuesday, an executive session to do an overview of the outstanding litigation that we have with the firm right now.
Madam Chair, I can set that up and present the schedule to you and for the board to take a look at.
Oh,
is that amenable? Is the board amenable to that?
I think that's fine. And I know I said 2 nights or whatever. If you can get them all like a 5, a 6:30, and an 8 or something, then I don't know if the board or timing-wise if they could do that.
5 p.m. at 6 to you, Madam Chair.
6:30 and an 8, it would give us
Okay.
just about over an hour with them, and then.
Does anybody have if we can get them on Thursday, that'd be better than Wednesday, but if we can't get them, well, that might not be better for Walter, I'm sorry. It would be better for me. Sorry,
Hey, for
Walter.
that price, I'll be here.
Could take up a collection.
Yeah, that's what you pay for. Right, you get what you pay for.
Would also be helpful, Madam Chair, if, because some of these quotes have exclusions, if we could get an idea on what our experience has been in those areas over the past year or to date. I know the FinCom had been keeping track of legal services by type. I don't know if they're still doing that, but
I think they were happy that our costs were reduced by so much, but that was largely in part to free services. But, okay. Wednesday or Thursday,
Well, if we
whichever
can-
night you can get.
Wednesday, Thursday?
We've got to check with the firms and see who we can get
Okay.
in. I mean, we could do Copeland and Page when they come next Tuesday if that's convenient for them, and then just schedule the other two.
They're being paid because of this executive session.
Yes, sir.
And that would be inappropriate. Madam Chair, that would be inappropriate to pay somebody to come for an interview
God bless.
because it's convenient. Let Mr. Andrews set up the interviews, please.
I just thought I might save
I
him a trip
understand.
down here, that's all.
No, I
Steve.
understand, but, to pay somebody to come and be interviewed for a job would be inappropriate. And I understand technically we're
Well,
not.
let me take that back. Maybe they're not charging to come down and give us this
Yeah, believe that the email
this
said.
summation of what's going on.
Maybe
I
we
asked
should
them.
check that.
Yeah, it's just another.
No, I agree with you.
It's another interview in private with the board, and
I agree that if
It
they're,
won't be in public,
just-
they won't be
if they're
private.
on the clock, then they shouldn't be, if we're paying by the hour, then
they're on
they
official
shouldn't be.
board business. They should not be.
They shouldn't be
interviewed
interviewed,
at
no.
that time.
But I
Madam
thought
Chair,
that,
I think also, excuse me one second,
Please, one at a time.
Member Winslow.
Mr. Andrews.
I think the entire team, including the lead counsel, should be here, because that's what's listed on the quote. So we can ask questions, where else are you lead counsel? What are you doing in other communities?
Right.
Because I think that's an important, and what have you done? So, I mean, those types of questions, I think, should be raised.